all forms of life, all people, and all the activities and relationships they are engaged in share three common factors. These three factors are the stuff of life itself, and all of life's activities are monitored by them. How should you talk to people or explain your ideas to them? How do you improve your relationships? How can you handle your work better? How do you accomplish your goals? All of these questions can be easily answered by understanding these three factors. They are affinity, reality, and communication. In Scientology, we take the first letter of each and call them ARC. By affinity, we mean emotional response. We mean the feeling of affection for someone or something, or the lack of it.
What's the problem?
Nothing.
Affinity includes your willingness to occupy the same place as the thing which is loved or liked. In other words, if you like someone, you naturally want to be near them.
I heard it from a little bird.
And likewise, if you don't like someone or something, you want to get away from that person or that thing. By reality, we mean the solid objects, the real things of life. Reality is agreement. What we agree to be real is real. For instance, two people who both agree that dogs are the best pets share a common reality about dogs.
I'm Lindsay.
Hey, Lindsay. I'm Doug.
Doug, nice to meet you.
And by communication, we mean the interchange of ideas between two people.
Here. Let's bring it down. We'll do this here.
In Scientology, affinity, reality, and communication form what is called the ARC triangle. It is a triangle because all 3 points are related and interdependent upon each other. For instance, it's your first day on a new job. The environment and the people in it are unfamiliar to you. That is to say, you have very little reality about them. And since you don't know anyone, you don't have any affinity for them yet. But once you begin to communicate to people, you find things you have in common with them.
I thought we can maybe try and use the internet.
And your affinity for them increases, and they become more real to you. And as the environment becomes more and more familiar to you, your willingness and desire to be there increases as well. As you can see, these factors are so dependent upon each other that if you raise one point of the triangle, the other 2 points will rise as well. And likewise, no point can be lowered without also lowering the other 2. You may have observed this in your life.
Sorry, look, they just didn't know.
If you've ever had a disagreement with a friend,
Stop. No, don't get mad.
your affinity for that person goes down and you don't feel like talking to them, or maybe even being around them. Now you know that to repair it, the two of you have to get together and talk about it. When you do, you each explain your own reality about what happened. In doing so, you each gain more reality about the other person's view of the situation, and you come to some agreement about what happened. This raises your affinity back up for each other again, and the upset gets handled. By raising one aspect of the triangle, in this case communication, you raise affinity and reality. This triangle has many applications in life. For example, how do people go into communication with each other? How do you talk to someone you want to get to know or do business with?
Drawing different for it doesn't make any sense.
You simply find something to like about the person and discuss something which the other person can agree with.
Right.
Fan of Monet?
Yeah, I really like Monet.
By finding something with which you both agree, you are establishing common reality.
Let me see that resume.
That's a nice boat, sir.
Well, you sail.
Yeah, I do.
Then, you maintain as much affinity as possible by knowing there is something you can like about him, and you are then able to talk with him. In fact, communication is the most important of these 3 factors. It can be said that the triangle begins with communication, which brings about affinity and reality. In other words, only by communication with a thing or a person can it become real to us, and we can feel something about it.
No, but I mean, you can.
Relationships, such as marriages, fall apart simply because of a failure in communication. When communication starts failing, the affinity starts dropping. People have secrets from one another, and their affinity drops out. Where once there was a bright, beautiful future and an enormous amount of affection, the ARC seems to disappear altogether. Not only can this happen with people, but with objects as well. For example, a person who has tried and failed to control the tools he works with will lose his affinity for those tools. He'll eventually no longer care about them, or even be able to use them. He has fallen out of communication with them. But by using ARC, such a person can regain both the use of his tools and his enthusiasm for his work. He would do this by simply touching his immediate tools and then letting them go. He would do this repeatedly. Touch it and let it go. Touch it and let it go. He is communicating with the tool, and it is becoming more real or solid to him. He may get bored touching it and letting it go over and over, but he should keep going until he's enthusiastic about it. Strange as it may sound, he will have raised his ARC for his tools and regained his ability to control them. As for the people you work with, well, they often object to being touched, but you can communicate with them.
And it's
listen to what they have to say and acknowledge what they say.
The other employees.
Okay, and that's a very okay. I do understand.
Say what you want to say to them gently enough and often enough so that it's actually received by them.
First thing in the morning, everyone.
If you really communicate and communicate well with them, you'll improve your ability to associate with them and coordinate their activities. The ARC triangle is one of the most valuable tools of Scientology. Affinity, reality, and communication are the keys to creating and improving human relationships and to increasing your understanding of people, work, and every aspect of life.